Faith is a very polarizing topic, isn't it? If you ask people today, do you have faith in God? Many people will respond, well, I don't consider myself a religious person. I do not attend a church or a synagogue or a mosque. I consider myself a spiritual person. I have faith in something higher, something bigger. I don't know quite what that is. So there is no faith in the old-fashioned, if you will, monotheistic religious institutions. There seems to be something afoot. So what is faith? I think faith could probably be understood as a deep trust in perhaps someone or something that you just believe. You don't have proof in that sense. You make the quote-unquote Kierkegaardian leap of faith, as he supposedly coined something like that thought. It seems to me, is really broken into two fundamental categories, isn't it? On the one hand, you have faith in a person after you've seen their actions a number of times, whatever they may or may not be. So, for instance, if someone makes an appointment for 8 o'clock, they tell you, I'll be there at 8 o'clock. And they are there at 8 o'clock, and this happens numerous times. They're always there for their appointment and on time, if not a little bit early. And then they tell you, I'll see you tomorrow at 2. Well, you have faith that that person will be there probably at that designated time. Or other things could be scholastic studies. You work hard on your studies and you have faith in your studying partner that they will show up and pull it off, so to speak, because they've done it before. The other faith, more the cerebral faith, faith in God, Gaia, or the universe, as I always like to say. So this kind of faith is really a leap into the unknown, isn't it? You have faith that there is some omniscient power above you that you can't understand, but if it's necessary, you can have a relationship with, a personal relationship, if it's necessary. But of course, not always, because God, by definition, is unknowable. But you have this faith that your relationship with that unknowable being or consciousness is somehow going to benefit your life. And curiously, if you do have this kind of faith and back it up with some kind of formalized religious institution, you are actually psychologically happier. Many studies have shown you feel better about consciousness, about reality, as you define it. Now, you could be fooling yourself, of course. There's always that possibility I could be wrong. I don't believe so personally when you look at the body of evidence, from the beauty of nature to the laughter of children to this concept of love, loving another human being. Obviously, there's something bigger than just man's interventions, I believe. But of course, other people say that's absolutely ridiculous. There is nothing. But I don't think their lives are wealthier spiritually and intellectually and philosophically for making those kinds of claims, for sure. faith can be many types of faith, can't it? Faith, of course, is belief without evidence, but it's also a commitment to yourself to live a certain way in life, right? So when I was very young, I knew that my life would be okay. I had faith that it would all work out, and with all its frustrations and its traumas and all sorts of things, it has worked out for sure to my advantage. No question at all. I would say that I'm a happy man at 69 years old because I had faith that things would be fine and will get better. I mean, it's not over by any stretch, right? So you're making a bizarre, at that point, when you're very young, you made this kind of leap of faith, as I was alluding to earlier, from, of course, Soren Kierkegaard. A person has to have something inside themselves that makes this belief manifest, belief in something higher, right? And you do then get this kind of curious faith as an inner certainty. I've experienced this. Even in my darkest moments, I knew that I would pull it off. And in that sense, faith becomes perseverance, doesn't it? You get a little bit angry with yourself. This is nonsense. I can't exist in this state of pain forever. I must go on. I must. So in that way, even if you're being buffeted around by the winds of reality, so to speak, you seem to be tethered with this anchor, right? With this anchor that pulls you forward, right? And then your faith drives you on because something larger than you is calling you, and you kind of find a type of courage, I guess you could say, really. I will pull this off. I remember many, many years ago starting a business with no money. Well, we had some money, but nowhere near enough money to really get going. But I just knew we would eventually pull it off. And we did. We finally did. We were able to be successful, right? So I think, say to yourself that I'm in my notebook. I've begun to write every day. What is my act of kindness today? What kind things did I do? And I say my prayers, make my bed, all of those things. But those are all faith-based concepts, aren't they? 3 questions, again, I've repeated often. Why am I here? Me. There's no one like me, never has been, never will be. But then I must open the door to me. What is my mission? I must uncover my mission by writing in my notebook, introspection, speaking with the universe. And finally, what happens when I leave here? What is my legacy here? And what does my transcendence mean? Take a chance that there is something greater than you. And ultimately, faith will make you a more contented person, and it will allow you to arrive where you're supposed to be, I believe. And you know what they say? You know what they say. Critical thinking is everything, especially when you want to predicate your life on faith. Faith in you, faith in God, faith in your civilization, and faith that it will all work out positively. Not naively positively, but truly positively. And critical thinking is great, truly great. You take care. God bless. Bye-bye.
Hello, everyone. Dave here. This is the 22nd day of our El Camino journey. Today is July 13th. It is a Sunday. It's been a lot cooler than it was previously. It's about 26 degrees Celsius or 79 degrees Fahrenheit for those of you in the States. So it's still warm, but it's been cooler than previously. It's been a lovely day, and the weather has been great. Today, let's talk about faith. Okay, so to begin, if you have faith in someone else, you have confidence in them, you have trust in them, perhaps you have faith in somebody's ability to do something, that you trust that they're the one who's up for the job, right? Now, to take things further, let's talk about faith in a more spiritual, universal way. I'd first like to share a story with you. So today we left Leon late, with our destination being Villar de Manzarife. Okay. And we left a little bit later than we usually do. We decided to sleep in, and by the time we ate breakfast and got things sorted out, it was about 8:30, and then we left. Usually we leave around 7 o'clock. So, for whatever the reason, we decided to leave late, and as we're walking, we leave Lyon, we walk through the outskirts, and we get to this small town on the outskirts of Lyon. You could say it's the suburbs of Lyon. And it was about 11 o'clock, and we were looking at this ancient basilica of Mary. And the basilica, from my understanding, it had been around since medieval times, but it had been redone in, I believe, the 1950s, if memory serves me correctly. And as we're looking at it, we hear the bells start to ring, and we see lots of people showing up and going inside. And it just happened that it was time for Mass. So Leon and I went in, and we enjoyed the service and celebrated the service, Sunday service, with the local people. Now, faith is it's a very personal thing, and it's something I find to be very important. That it's something I find to be very important. It doesn't matter whether you are a Hindu, or you believe in Matsu, or you're a Protestant, or a Catholic, or you believe in Islam. Rather, it's the idea of faith itself. It's what separates us as humans from ants, for example. It shows we have such a bigger purpose in life than and in the universe. So faith is quite important. I'll let Leon share some thoughts on this too.
Hello, Leon here. Well, I think faith is a major component of a healthy person. Many studies have suggested that if you have faith in yourself firstly, and then faith in God, Gaia, the universe, you are a better well-rounded person. You suffer less of this type of anxiety that we all experience by being alive, making choices, because ultimately it's to be noted that I am alone. I can reach out, I can touch you, I can feel the warmth of your body, and this is true with your children, people that you love. They will always be separate from you, always. And love, yes, love binds us and brings us close, but you'll never know their most intimate thoughts. The only relationship you can have in the universe is with God, because that can be a personal relationship. And there are too many examples in too many religions for one to walk away and say it's total foolishness. I don't think so, personally, at 69 years old. I think you need this relationship if you're going to be a healthy being. And I think David and I have experienced a bit of an epiphany, if I can put it this way, on this walk, because you are subjected to odd circumstances. Some people would call it luck, serendipity, whatever it is, but we've had too many instances of good luck along this journey. Starting from a man that helped us get organized in Bordeaux, helped us buy tickets right to another bus driver that arrived, a bus that arrived, so we didn't miss our train, and there's many more. We'll talk on this perhaps later one day, but miraculous. So along the way, the El Camino truly pulls you in, changes you. Many people have said, and I think there's some truth to this, because you are forced to confront, why am I here? What's my mission? And what happens when I leave here? These are questions that are omnipresent in any thinking person's life. And as David said, we love our dogs, we love our cats, we love animals, but these are not conscious in the same way. Necessary beings for sure, absolutely, but still not in the same way that we exist, because we can have a relationship. Now, some people say that there is nothing. I'm here and then I disappear. Well, I'd like to suggest that you try Pascal's dictum. Believe in God, why not? Pascal's wager. You've got nothing to lose, and I think probably you've got everything to gain in thinking that my little piece of life has transcendence. And just a thought, and I'll pass you back to Dave. I watched a rabbi once when he was questioned. He was asked by a woman, what happens when I die? And his response was, what? We we never die. What are you talking about? If we've had life, you always have life. And if you've had no life, in other words, non existence or death in another sense, you've never had life. So it was an interesting thought. The problem that results many times is that I love me and I have this ego that I want to believe will carry forth forever. And I question that personally, because I think we will change in the next reality. It won't be quite like we believe. And I think Scripture and many other great missiles help us in this guide, but it's up to me to decide. Pass you back to Dave.
Yes. So why not? That's what I'd like to ask you. Why not? Take some time and reflect on faith. Your faith towards other people, your faith in yourself, and your faith in relation to your God. Okay, everyone, have a good night. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. God bless. Be safe. Bye bye.
Bye bye.